Hi, and welcome to Wow Talk. I'm Donna Cappuccitti, a thriving cancer survivor.
And I'm her naturopathic doctor, Darlene Gustin. We're here to encourage, educate, and empower you on your journey to optimum wellness.
Welcome. I know we were going to talk about probiotics, but I think we need to talk about autoimmune disease first.
Yes.
Do you agree? Yeah?
Yes.
All right,
yes,
then.
Yes.
Okay. Why don't we start? What exactly is autoimmune disease or disorder? What do you call it? Disease, right?
Sure.
Okay. I don't know.
So autoimmune conditions.
Okay. Condition. Okay.
Are coming from the root cause that your immune system has made an error and has decided that one part of your natural body is an enemy and it's attacking that tissue. So it could be attacking your joints in the case of arthritis. It could be attacking your thyroid. It could be attacking your skin. So there's a lot of different body parts. Could be attacking your hair follicles, giving you little bald patches. So there's many autoimmune conditions out there, and it's quite unnatural because your immune system's job is to protect you from foreigners, and now it's made this mistake and it's attacking itself.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of thought about why. So the best theory to date is that it's post-viral immune dysregulation, that you had a virus, the virus came, the virus went, but that virus, accidentally looked like a piece of thyroid. So from now on, every time your immune system is stimulated by an allergen or an infection, you also beat up your thyroid.
Oh my, that is so interesting.
Yeah, and it affects women much more than it affects men, and that has been studied, and they did not find a genetic reason for that. But what they did find, something very interesting, was that there was a lot of correlation to silent bladder infections. And a lot of women who've had children, and as we age with gravity, our bladder drops, maybe tilts over, and it doesn't empty fully in a lot of postmenopausal mothers. And that low-grade, never goes away bladder infection has been very affiliated with the cause of why autoimmunity is happening more so in women than in men. And when someone has a diagnosis, I tell them, we will try to make it better. We will try to put out the war, but that decision in the immune system seems to be permanent. So it's something that is managed. And the first thing I do is go for the gut.
Again.
Go looking for parasites, improve the microbiome. That's in the background for many health conditions, including autoimmunity. And I see people's symptoms go away. I see their blood work improve. I see their autoimmune markers reduce in their blood tests when I work on the gut.
Okay.
And also people with autoimmune disease, I tell them it's worth doing an IgG food sensitivity test. So first you kill the parasites, heal the gut, plant the probiotics, and then it's good to go checking, I wonder if I have any IgG food sensitivities. And those can be silent. And they are another version of immune stimulation. So with autoimmunity, we want to reduce the severity, duration, and frequency of infections and exposure to allergens.
Okay, what's IgG?
So it's a department in the immune system that causes food sensitivity. So it's not an allergy. It's not immediate and life-threatening. You can have the symptoms when you eat the wrong food. You can have the symptoms 30 minutes to 4 days after you ate the food, or it could be quite silent. It could be causing silent inflammation. So it's something that even in the absence of symptoms, you could have the test and it's not necessarily good results. It might show that you have to avoid certain foods. And the research shows that people diagnosed with any autoimmune condition are 20-fold more likely to be found to have a gluten sensitivity.
Really?
Yep, 20-fold. So So it's not going to hurt anybody to just try to go off gluten and see what happens.
Like myself, who
Yeah.
has vitiligo. I've mentioned that a few times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
so gluten is very often found to be a sensitivity, and they have another word in science called mimicry. The gluten looks like the body part, so the immune system is attacking the body part, thinking it's the gluten or the virus.
Oh my goodness. Okay, now I do have a question. Could autoimmune conditions be hereditary?
That's a good question. To a degree, yes, not always. It's always so individual. The answer is individual. Like I have a genetics degree and I get asked this question all the time and I go, it doesn't matter which gene you have. It only matters if you express that gene, and you can far outweigh your genetic code with lifestyle. So lifestyle is by far the larger influence on your health than whether you have that gene or not. And I want to back up to one of my earlier comments where in the science, in the research, they believe that post-viral immune dysregulation is the most accepted cause of autoimmune disease. But in the naturopathic profession, I'd say, can you change the word virus to the word parasites?
Mm-hmm.
And that opens the field. Who said it has to be a virus?
Yeah.
And just before the pandemic, I went to an amazing medical conference on autoimmune disease, and they were reporting different research and statistics. So for instance, with rheumatoid arthritis, they would say this percentage of those people were found to have this bacteria, and this percentage of those people were found to have this virus. Or for thyroid, they would say, something like 30% of them have Epstein-Barr virus, 62% of them have Candida. So I'm making up the numbers, but there's more than one microorganism. It could be a fungus, it could be bacteria, it could be a virus, has been affiliated with this autoimmune disease. So you could have 10 people with autoimmune thyroid problems, and in one person it's all about working on the Epstein-Barr virus, which is heavily connected to thyroid conditions. But the next person with the same autoimmune thyroid condition, it's more a Candida story. And the third one, it's more Yersinia alba, different kinds of microorganisms. And they came into the body, they changed things, they created a permanent change in the immune system, but that decision is now permanent. So one step in the treatment plan as a naturopath is to reduce the volume of these microorganisms, to unburden the immune system. And so that's the primary approach. But there are also a lot of supplements that are what we call immune modulators. And these are high-tech words that have to do with balancing how we handle inflammation and reducing inflammation to preserve and reduce the amount of tissue damage that happens over a lifetime.
Okay, so while we're talking about this, it's bringing to mind other things that I've had in the past. I always mention vitiligo because it's still with me. But I also had Graves' disease at one point, and it reared its ugly head when I think it was after I had my second baby. That's when it appeared. And then I was treated medically. It has been in remission for a number of years. But I often wonder, in the back of my head, like, do I have to do something to really be careful for it not to come back?
I love that you brought up the point after second pregnancy, because that's been studied too. So it's a lot of autoimmune conditions do happen after pregnancy, especially after a second pregnancy. And of course, all the moms know why. We're just burned out. It's pretty obvious. But also, once you have one autoimmune disease, it's really easy to add to the list. So I've met patients who have 5 different autoimmune diseases. Oh. So they might have rheumatoid arthritis and Graves' disease on thyroid and vitiligo and alopecia. So it's really easy to add to the list. So any new infection, any stressful period in life, and And there are certain food families, like the nightshade food family is very related to rheumatoid arthritis and even fibromyalgia. And those are the tomato family. So tomatoes, potatoes, eggplant, peppers, and tobacco.
Yeah.
Weird mix, but those are the nightshades, and we knew decades ago that nightshades aggravate rheumatoid arthritis. But at the end of the day, each person's an individual.
Yes.
Yeah. Definitely thyroid conditions are thought to run in families, more so affect females. But you can have 9 aunts and 9 sisters, but they didn't all get it. And it's not like they're having genetic tests.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
So what can we do to prevent? Is there something we can do?
Maintain a healthy gut. It's all about the microbiome. And there are some new tests available now in Canada that I'm really excited about. I wish they were a little bit more affordable, but the tests are there that usually with the stool analysis, they can, with great detail, evaluate the microbiome. So which bad guys are living there and which good guys are living there and which good guys are missing. And you can be very high tech with how to disinfect the body and also very particular about which probiotic to buy as well. Okay.
Is there anything else?
And a lot of suppliers are putting warnings on their probiotics now not to take in autoimmune disease. So sometimes you really do need to consult with a professional, and natural supplements are, just because it's natural doesn't mean that it cannot cause harm. It can aggravate an autoimmune condition if you do things wrong, if you do things in the wrong order.
Or the wrong dose.
Or the wrong dose, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. Well, thank you.
A lot to think about.
A lot to think about.
Yeah. So with a diagnosis like this, it's probably not the best idea to just walk into a health food store and just randomly pick something. And also a seemingly innocent herb like echinacea. Everybody buys echinacea when they have a cold.
Yes.
But it's an immune stimulant, and it is definitely not recommended when people have autoimmune diseases. And so if you took it for 2 days last week because you had a cold, okay, you didn't cause any lasting damage. But if echinacea is your go-to and you're taking it all the time and you've taken it too long, too often, at too high a dose, yes, it can increase the forest fire in the body if you have autoimmune disease.
Okay, that is really good to know.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah, so there's immune stimulants, immune tonics, immune modulators. So it can get a little bit tricky to choose these things for yourself.
Okay, so the lesson here is go and see a naturopath if you can.
Definitely.
Do not prescribe. Do not self-prescribe. We have an episode on that too, to tell you all about the harms in that. So anyway, thank you again, Dr. Gustin.
My pleasure. Thank you for listening.
Bye for now.
Bye.